to get things started here for game number 1. So
yeah,
anticipation's been growing, man.
It looks like they're almost there. Looks like B-Kid's ready, Cookies is ready. We're just waiting on it's counting down, Breaky.
It actually is counting down. Oh, my gosh. We actually got it, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 1. It is officially here. It's on my screen. Let's bring it up on your screen right now. We got Complexity taking on Absolute Legends here in a best out of 3. So Absolute Legends, of course, going to be on the Legion side. Complexity on the Hellborn side here to get things kicked off. So Absolute Legends, again, they got knocked down fairly early on. They got knocked out by Team Yeah in the round of 16. They've fought their way through the losers bracket since then. On the other hand, speaking of, getting defeated by Justice League, another team that's definitely having a run. And again, we'll keep an eye on that series. Justice League versus Lion Esports Club going on right now as well, right there. So, but as far as this series is concerned, here we go. The blind banning stage. Keeper of the Forest Tempest coming out from AL. Moon Queen Fade going to be happening from Complexity here. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to take a look at what this leaves vulnerable. I like to see the Keeper of the Forest Tempest banned. Places a lot of emphasis on this potential Ophelia first pick by AL. I know they're a team that likes to tap into it. Mycee loves playing it. Complexity obviously plays it very well, too, over there with Riser. BKid actually chooses to lock it, which means they know they're probably going to get Ophelia or going to be prioritizing that Ophelia, which means they can get a really, really strong 2 and 3 draft out of this lock pool.
Yeah.
Heroes like potentially Rally. I mean, they can set up a combo here that they want with any hero from the normal drafting phase and then a power hero, because you've probably... There is a chance, though, knowing that Ophelia and Parasite can't get taken if they are trying to set up for a really powerful dual hero combination like that NG Flux and like that people have been banning out lately, that you could actually see AL try to interrupt that by grabbing it first and then just going with the remnants of the Ophelia or the Parasite, preventing them from getting something like a Master of Arms or Rally to go along with that Ophelia by either taking it out or drafting it themselves first here. So there's a lot of ways to actually approach this right now. During the lock phase. Pandemonium being locked up, I actually think that hero is a complete power player right now. I saw Complexity play it. B-Kid was playing it. I'm not sure if we casted that match or was this a scrim I was watching.
I know which one you're talking about, yeah.
He played a really farmed up Pandemonium. He was actually not even needing to hit a lot of his spells right there. Near the end of the game, he was so farmed up that just a couple of flurries were just wiping out like 1,500 HP, 1,800, 2,000 HP heroes like it was nothing. So. Yeah. Either way, Pandemonium has, in general, from what I've seen on the scene, just really skyrocketed to being pretty damn high priority. So seeing it locked up here isn't that much of a surprise to me. Monkey King, AL, I mean, people are often quoted as saying, I just don't know why Cookies doesn't pick a Monkey King every game.
It seems to be the go-to win strategy for them. Get Monkey King on Cookies, and it's a...
You see them down 10K sometimes, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, Cookies Monkey King just happened.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about, we've been throwing the term around a lot lately, actually, snowball effect, and well, actually, the patch that happened on Friday did address it a little bit, and they said before, looking at the analytics, the gold was playing a bigger role in the comebacks, but it was the experience change that really was creating that disparity now. So they did tone it down a bit. It still obviously doesn't incentivize ganking, but well, it's curious to see just how that little tweak might play a role here and how games play out. So I do like that was changed.
It's hard to say, just looking at this, and I'm sure a lot of people out there, they just see a bunch of numbers, honestly. So it's hard to sit here and say, how much of an impact this really is going to have. But the idea is that, yes, it was a little too much and, toning it down at least slightly. So, I mean, we'll see.
For sure. I mean, I was playing yesterday a lot of games, too. And, roaming around, I still found myself. I was like in a dual lane. I was like a level 5 Geo. I wound up being the highest level on the team after a few ganks. So obviously still is possible to get that increase. It is just a scale back a little bit. But back into this game, Tundra being banned out immediately here, which against Complexity, I think most teams would argue that they argue the best Tundra player on the scene, sitting there in Moonmeander. I mean, he it's at least one of his signature heroes. Meanwhile, Engineer being banned out, so the Engineer Flux combination will not have a presence this game. So curious to see if either team chooses to tap into that Flux we've seen banned. I know Complexity has been running Kraken a fair amount here on Trelf, and he's had pretty moderate success with it.
Yeah, Kraken's definitely, again, I've always loved the hero in general, and it is good to start seeing him making somewhat of a comeback. I haven't seen him a whole lot, but he definitely has had his appearances since that patch. Soul Reaper and Rally going to be the last couple of locks right there, or excuse me, bans right there. And now into the first pick we go with Cookies. We'll see if it's more of an immediate or if actually gonna think about this right here a little bit. It looks like it is gonna be the latter somewhat, at least so far. Okay, but he is gonna go Lodestone in the end. So Lodestone left open, and Cookie's gonna go ahead and capitalize on that one right there.
Yeah, and I actually got to see the game. I'm trying to think who they beat last. Was it? Yeah, they beat
They beat AFK.
No, AFK Milking Cows. Yeah, and
Cows,
actually in that last game they played, Present 23 was actually playing the Lodestone.
Okay.
Did a pretty fantastic job. So he'll likely be playing that Lodestone, and well, we'll see how they choose to do the laning setups. I mean, sometimes teams are going aggressive right now. Sometimes they choose to mix it up. But yeah, Present 23 is who I expect to see playing it. AL is a team that has been known to mix it up, but just based on the hero pool available and the fact that they're looking at getting a potential primary farmer here after the Lodestone out of the pool, after their Ophelia or Parasite pick, looking at that Pandemonium or Monkey King. So,
yeah, and speaking of that, also we got to see Moomiander, of course, play that recently against IG in that matchup on Thursday that we casted, and it was amazing, man. It was amazing watching that. I mean, the potential of this Lodestone hero, it's not a surprise anymore. In the beginning, we saw him banned quite a bit, and we maybe saw him here or there, but that was the performance for me against IG, where he just absolutely dominated in the suicide role. We're like, okay, this hero is some hero to reckon with, and it makes a lot more sense now as to why he's being more and more addressed. So,
yep.
Luna Bubbles going to be the response so far coming out from Complexity here.
Yeah, heroes that really don't compromise their laning too much. Both of those can pretty much go anywhere and be thrown into a number of setups. So I like those picks. I always like to see early on in the drafting pool heroes that you have a fair amount of flexibility with. So Complexity going that round, they can still adapt their lineup in a number of different ways. When I'm looking at the lock pool is that I'm sure within those first two picks we're going to see that Ophelia and the Master Arms on either side. I don't think they're going to give up the Ophelia and the Master Arms to Complexity. So how they're planning on approaching it,
yeah.
Complexity knew that, so they did lock up that Master. AL here, trying to look at what's available still on the board. Rally did get banned out. Dawood banned out. Pebbles banned out. They need a supporting option because they aren't going to be looking to grab their support probably out of the lock pool. I mean, there are options between Master and Torp, but it'd be unusual based on how it's playing out for them to grab it. So go for the Dark Lady Empath, and I know Dark Lady a favored carry. Actually, a lot of times played by Mookies, so who we sometimes saw playing the support. And
yeah,
in a setup like this, once again, they have been known to mix it up, and I wouldn't be expecting to see Mookies play the Empath, but actually he did play it last time, and more than likely with King Plato here. If King Plato wasn't here, you might see Mookies playing the Empath role, but with him here, I'm probably expecting to see Plato on it.
Yeah.
During the previous game that they played against the AFK Milking Cows, he was actually on Mookies was on the Empath, and Plato was playing that Zephyr, so. Yep.
We'll see. We'll see how they swap things around. AL still is just one of those teams where you can never,
right.
It's hard
it could
to
be just based on hero
define.
comfort because they literally do mix things up. Okay,
time.
so final pick here out of the drafting pool. They are going against a Dark Lady. I like seeing. Okay, I was say sometimes like seeing a Pharaoh. They once again really versatile lanes is everything that I'm still seeing coming here out of Complexity. It leads way to a very aggressive lineup potentially too because. You can pretty much adapt and take it where you need. If you need to run an aggressive try, if you need to run a dual, I mean, dual lane mid, you have a lot of options here. So
yeah.
Potentially with that Parasite coming out.
AL's going to think about this first pick now. Again,
Yeah,
when you look at the lock pool, it's not an easy decision by any means. So,
Well, they don't want to give up the Ophelia Master, so but I would lend it towards that. But they are going to go for the Parasite, so they are going to take it away. I mean.
Yep. You see that did open the door, though, for the Ophelia Master of Arms for Complexity to finish off strong. And now for AL, I got to think it's going to be either Monkey King or Pandemonium here. As far as, actually, now I'm looking at it, maybe.
Thing is, this is a lineup that's actually pretty hard for Parasite to play aggressive against. I mean, a lot of mobility here. When you look at their lineup, you have a lot of mobility. I mean, even Luna can play it pretty safe, too, as far as supports go. She's not as vulnerable as, say, when you, see some of those. I don't know. You see the Glaciuses sometimes and whatever. Luna has better lane presence across the board, so.
Okay, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they do go the Torture in the end. I was wondering. I thought it was going to be Monkey Pandemonium off the bat, but then I was like,
once they picked up the Dark Lady, that was more their farm role, so they chose to pace it that way. I'm really just. They have to make sure they can out-gank this Ophelia early on. If Ophelia has a presence, actually manages to get a kill off in the middle lane before the Parasite, once again, this isn't a lineup I really see a lot of comfort in. Look, they have a Dark Lady and Empath. Pretty strong heroes, but when it comes to forcing Parasite out of the jungle, they have a lot of aggression here, a lot of mobility, so I don't expect to see him necessarily taking over Ophelia and slowing her down, so he just needs to get aggressive sooner. Ophelia, meanwhile, if she's able to set up that gank first, I mean, that's kind of what Legion team is looking to do, create that room for Dark Lady. So, a little bit worried for AL here, but we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah. I mean, Dark Lady, with that said, obviously a very, very scary hero if gets caught in, or can get to the late game stage. And as we've seen so many times, see Cookies right there.
And
you mentioned on the U.S. West server. Happy.
Sure enough, look at the draft actually coming out here from AL and how they're actually choosing to apply Mookies, who was playing the empath in their previous match with King Plato on the, Micey normally playing the jungle.
Yep.
We talked about Micey's on the empath, Plato's on the parasite, Mookie. So it just really depends on hero preference for them.
Yep.
More than actual role.
Yeah.
Cookies and Presence seem pretty stable usually, but the rest sort of mix it up.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely some fun stuff there. What could also be pretty fun right here, you see AL making the way over. Now the trio's cleared out, so Complexity should have some pretty good vision here as far as what is to come. And they realize pretty quickly that they are going to be outmatched, and they're going to start falling back now. So in the end, it doesn't look like we're going to have any exchanging going on between the two teams, but AL will be able to get some Ward of Sights down perhaps. Look at that Ward of Sight by Peter Pan Dam with that said. Placing it in his own jungle right there, expecting the roaming parasite perhaps to be in the aggressive jungle here. So I wonder if that is going to be the case. I guess it.
Yeah, for sure. In case of the harass, he figures it's better to play it safe. And I was going to say, like, Peter Pan Dam and Complexity in general is usually good at shutting down aggressive junglers, and they know how to adapt to it, even body blocking camps where they need. So yeah, you see right there, they are rotating back to the other lane. Parasite's like, yeah, I'm gonna be jungling in our side. So they did get the ward down to block the far lane Ophelia camp, so it's going to make it a little bit harder for her to power farm and maintain aggression. Looking at Ophelia, does have a Rev ward available. Could be a little bit difficult for her to scout that ward out. That we'll have to see how she actually chooses to place it and how she goes about it.
Yeah, that's not the most usual wards, but I guess when it's blocked, though, get some information. But yeah, you're right as far as where exactly it is. We'll see if she is able to take care of that here down the line. So, yeah, in the end, Parasite does go to his own jungle. It is going to be that Suicide Lodestone, which seems like that seems to be the role that he is comfortable with. Dark Lady makes his way to the bottom lane, finds Bubbles already in the lane, getting some creep farm, and immediately will go on to Bubbles, actually. Going to get him to Shell Surf. Empath running with him, going to wall him out, actually. And Moon is in a little bit of trouble right here. He doesn't have Shell Surf for another 10 seconds. Dark Lady not going to come assist now in the meantime. Instead, they're just going to trade auto attack and actually Empath the one that might need to be a little bit careful here. Picking another auto attack. Oh, the Shell Surf, it does cancel the health potion, but he will not pour with it. So very scary back and forth early on.
The thing that Micey needed to do there is as soon as they engaged and the trading of auto attacks happened with Bubbles, he needed to have a tree eater already going. In the middle of his auto attacks, he had time to go over one of those trees, eat it, and provide that consistent regen, which when he's trading attacks like that, over time would have helped him a lot against the Bubbles, and would have made it so he didn't need to back up as he did.
Yeah. In the end, though, we had to, but neither wanted to fall. It did get close for Moon Meander to actually get a turnaround kill right there. As, of course, he is very familiar with situations like this. In fact, going to go and run second right here. Trident Strikes comes in on the Dark Blaze. The auto attack, one more health potion. Going to be used. Get a little bit of health right there. Going to be canceled though. Just Shell Surf away. Cancel. Oh, he cannot get over the ledge, though. He's going to go over for the counter kill on Empath, but Dark Lady still holding her ground. Does not have Charging Strikes up. Not enough mana. Chasing him down, though. One more auto attack. He's going to try to get himself going. Oh, the Vagabond leader misses, actually, but King Plato will come in for the final auto attack. So kind of some humorous there, but
yeah,
in the end gets the kill.
I want to make the point that I think Dark Lady is one of the best carries you can have as a kill lane against the Bubbles. I mean, it's honestly perfect. A pretty deep charging strikes lane, and Bubbles pretty much has no way to get away from you at that point.
Yeah.
Shell Surf, you do get silenced from him. With the level 1 of Take Cover, it's not going to be enough to really provide him that escape unless he's preemptively casting his Shell Surf. So yeah, it really does screw him over. So yeah, I like their lane assignments. Normally Empath, and it can be a little bit troublesome against a hero like Bubbles because Take Cover does break that Essence Link right away, but that totally changes when you have a Dark Lady on the table and Empath actually becomes an asset due to the massive amount of lockdown she's able to provide.
Do you think that was a little overplay there from Meander, or was that just simply, good play by AL in the end?
It was overplay. I mean, there was good walls and what have you, but Moon Meander was pushing the limit a bit. In the end, Micey, though, did play it well. I mean, he was literally one auto attack away from death, a little bit of a stutter click, or when he was trying to juke in the trees, if he clicked a little bit too far. Things like that do happen, but just, yeah, well played by Micey in the end, and nice kiting job by AL.
So, obviously a big start there at the bottom lane for AL. In the end, Dark Lady, her farm looking pretty strong. But, I mean, even with Bubbles with that depth, he's still level 3. He's managing a 6-2 creep farm. Not the most terrific, but at least he is managing quite well. So, You know, you take away that death, and the story is actually pretty solid for Mumiender right there. We'll see how it continues as Empath is not back in the lane,
you have to factor in this is the goal loss, and you had to get back to lane. I think he ported back, right? So
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so he's still slowed down a bit. No boots yet by the 3-minute mark.
See Dark Lady even getting the life tube right there. Top lane present, 23 taking some good pressure, but he's going to be fine in the end.
Bubbles, your shell surf is down,
Oh,
bro.
geez.
I don't know.
What's he thinking right there? The wall comes out. Dark Blade's now Dark Lady not the best angle right there, however, and Bubbles will be able to get away. Most likely Shell Surf back the other way. He will be fine. Very close, actually.
Yeah, just not effective utilization there of the wall and the lockdown that Essence Link can provide. He should have been able to chase a little bit further. He wanted to prevent it from, getting broken by take cover, but with the Dark Lady hitting him and providing that silence, he could have gotten a bit of extra damage before choosing to break it, and it was only level 1, so they tried, and he didn't charge right away either with the Dark Lady, so I'm not sure if he was like 2 mana short and then he got it. I know he was activating the Clarity Potion, the Mana Potion. Now he's out of them, though. I believe he had 2. He had to use them both to try to get his spells off. Yeah, so now Bubbles is going to be able to play out pretty again, but he's losing lane control. But yeah, bottom lane, I think Moon's going to survive here for a bit now. Now that TDL's out, so it's going to be a little bit of a passive farm. I'm going to take a look at the other lanes.
Well, speaking of the other lanes, middle lane, nope, Cookies is going to be fine. Magma's stunning in, but Cookies just a little bit too far back right there for any big-time follow-up or a kill, so he will be fine. Speaking of that middle lane, Cookies is 8-2 creep farm right here against Magmus, who is 29-6. B-Kid, the Swagmas, is definitely having a great start this game. No doubt, I mean, you look at the lane situation, and it makes sense as to why, just the 2 versus 1 in general. Torture, wow, he nearly got killed, but I totally missed that, actually. Nearly getting killed, though, by my guess is a power throw. But able to survive in the end, just barely, though, jeez. Got him well.
Yeah, Peter Pan, damn, to pick up a ward of, so I'm not sure if he's actually transferred over to this master or not. Trell's getting his bolstering armband and finishing. Actually, I think he does. Okay, a bunch of items if he's out on the corridor, the bolstering armband and the mana potion, so he needs to trade something off. Yeah, the ward. There we go.
Okay, there we go.
That was
What's going on here? Speaking of that, actually, the top lane, yeah, Tralfamador, how's he coming along? 29-5 compared to your 21-5 Lodestone. And the pressure, I've been, going back and forth up to this top lane. It seems like Lodestone's life pool has definitely been lacking a bit of times too. So the harassment has most certainly been kept up by Tralfamador as well.
yeah, overall Lodestone's doing fine though. I mean, you are in the suicide lane. After all, the short lane does have a bit of a positioning advantage, so he's doing fine. Keeping him farm, he's not absolutely crushed or anything, and it's like 50 gold per minute behind Tralfamador playing that Master Arm, so not a big deal either way. Ophelia, I'm going to be keeping an eye on her to see if she's going to rotate to try to set something up. Doesn't look like it's keeping up with farming pattern for now, so don't expect to see any kills happening here at the top. So I'm looking at middle lane. Bubbles did move, so they are trying to set something up here. Ophelia actually transferring to the top lane while this is all happening as well, trying to maybe catch the Lodestone off guard. He's actually should be able to find the angle here, depending how fast he gets. Yeah.
Going to drill away, and actually Lodestone will be fun. Middle lane, there was the Wild Hunter Parasite there. It's level 6, but not able to find the opportunity either. So yeah, both the middle and the top lane, some possibilities, but in the end, not going to follow through. Parasite might find himself in a little of a awkward situation. Going to counter ward right there, and now he's going to try to run away. He does something like Ghost Marchers, and actually Bubbles is not going to chase. So King Plato actually gets a counter ward off effectively, and able to go back into the jungle to continuing farm. And while this is all happening, Dark Lady's just doing her own thing.
That ward spot where King Plato actually has that Ward of Revelation place, it's a common place where you see people ward when they're actually trying to protect their suicide lane from that level 6 jungle gank. Because a lot of times you see like something like a Bubbles or someone in that suicide lane might get ganked by the jungler going behind the tower. When it sort of gets pushed up, take it, and then quickly go for a tower push.
Yeah.
It also protects their mid lane from potential aggression. So it shows that they are wanting to apply aggression with his Parasite now that he's level 6. He knows that there's no vision there, so curious to see how he's going to tap into it and how complex he's going to respond, because they did see him walk up and place that Rev Ward.
Yeah. Get back to the, again, Cookies here.
I just saw the Parasite bottom lane, sort of near that bubble. He's level 6, and Dark Lady doesn't have her boots yet, but was kind of in a position to maybe punish his bubbles. So
yeah, Mumiender will fall back, however, and feeling something up. In fact, he's going all the way back here.
See, I like that quick ward placement following up by King Plato as well, because it's going to see them in. Okay. Yeah, no wards yet for Pandem. I was going to say it's going to let them see how they actually choose to respond, and if they are going to try to set up any counter vision themselves.
Refreshment rune going to spawn bottom right there, and that means Magma's going to pick up the top rune. It happened to be regen, and look at where Beacon is going. He's going to try to set up something here at the top side. Torture and Lodestone hugging the tower. Big dive going to be coming out. There's a on to Lodestone. Can he get the Shadow Storm off maybe? No, there's the rocket drill. Shadow Storm still not going to be activated. Tower will fall in favor of Complexity. Defensive Master's Call coming up from Tralfamador right there. And now Torture is on the run. Lodestone is still running away himself. Torture going to be stunned in, and Torture will end up falling. So the tower kill on top of the hero kill is successful for Complexity there.
Yeah, great job by Complexity. They had the rotation. I was going to say, though, I was really impressed by Cookies, and once again, his composure, even while 3 heroes were out there, he was doing his best to try to stun out the guy going for the tower kill, trying to get the deny in the missile, and trying to apply the pressure onto Tralf, who was taking tower damage at the time, so obviously didn't work out in the end, but you see how some of these top players perform in high-pressure situations, and it really gives you an idea to why they're here in the first place.
Yeah.
Ghost Marchers have been picked up by Mookies, which actually, Meander, man, he's got to be careful. I mean, that is an easier spot to juke. He does have the woods right there, and with his take cover active, but yeah, I mean, with those Ghost Marchers and only boots up here on the bubbles, it's got to be really, really careful.
Yeah.
Has that level 8 here on Dark Lady, and how did he actually choose the skill? It does have level 3 Charging Strikes, level 3 Dark Blade, so.
Going for more kills. Oh, top lane Master of Arms, Shadow Storm activated right on top, and there's the explosion. Sonic down, Torture coming in. Nice charge shot on a Cookies, though. The hero blocking from Lodestone, however. Big sidestep from Tralfamador to avoid the chain reactions, though, and Tralfamador will survive. Excellent getaway in that 1 versus 2 situation from Tralfamador, as he is also going to be ported back to base. That's got to be frustrating for Cookies and
Lodestone,
23
man,
right
he
there.
doesn't actually have mana for a getaway at this point. The Skeleton King is on him. Nice follow-up stun, though.
Yeah, he's going to survive in the end, so not going to be any kills happening at the top lane as a result of all of that, but yeah, very good job. I mean, well played by both sides. A great hero blocking by Lodestone in the first place, but Tralf definitely saw it coming and eventually sidestepped it and got away, so.
Yeah, I've got to say, I understand when you just go life 2, when you try to go straight for that Helm of the Black Legion, especially on a hero like Lode, but I do hate the lack of aggression it sort of implies too, because you have no boots, because you have such a small mana pool. So it's one little bit of hesitation, especially when they're like looking like an aggressive team across the board with this Parasite and how they're trying to apply it. That being said, they do have a lot of late game potential given this Dark Lady, and she's off to a fantastic start, so not necessarily all in there.
Speaking of Tralf on them, oh sorry.
Oh no, I was going to say, I'm looking at ports here. They do have one on a Luna in case Moonmander was dove on, as well as one up on Alan Magnus. So I was just trying to keep an eye on that to see if Dark Lady would apply any pressure. She's content to just keep farming away.
Yeah, Mookie seems pretty happy with just simply farming in the end here, not really going for those kill opportunities. I was going to say Master Farm, so he already has the Steam Boots energized there. His farm's also going very well, similar to that Dark Lady. In fact, Magnus is also way up there, actually tied with Dark Lady in farm overall. But you got Master of Arms at 330. He's also going to clean up some triple stack Ancients here in the meantime. Has some assistance from Aluna. Magnus at the top lane. Chain Reaction is going to just miss him, and he will also get away. But Complexity definitely has a lot of positives going for them, as does AL, starting with that Dark Lady, of course. And then Parasite also around that 300 GPM. It seems like King Plato's going to have that Codex here in the near future. They want to kill onto this Magnus. Parasite is coming in for the side, has a Skeleton King. Of course, he has that Face Suck as well. He's going to find him right there. Nice Steam Bat Juke, though, coming over Beacon. The stuff for the Rocket will hit, though. Face Suck is out. In comes the Ophelia's touch, deep at the Master's Call, and he'll easily stay alive. That is the global presence right there coming into play. Magnus stuns back in. Lowstone going to be red stun. In the meantime, Skeleton King from Ophelia coming out. The Minotaur stun, the Vagabond nuke, and Riser takes credit for the kill. Big turnaround for Complexity right there.
I mean, that was a huge dodge from B-Kid there. If the Skeleton King had hit him, it would have made it a lot easier for them to time their stun. You saw there, the Lodestone and the Torture essentially stacked their stuns, so not having the biggest stagger, and in the end it did allow B-Kid to survive, so basically AL is setting up their own downfall here with a lot of this attempted aggression on the top lane with that Lodestone gank before with the Torture, which didn't quite pan out. A rare moment of hesitation from He's there and ultimately getting juked by Trell. And then now with this gank bottom lane, top lane where Ophelia was ready to respond and that dodge by B-Kid, so a bit unfortunate. Helm of the Black Legion is now picked up by Lodestone, though. You see Dark Lady well on her way to her Rune Cleaver.
Yeah. The Sustainer just finished for her with those Ghost Marchers. So yeah, that Rune Cleaver, again, the key item, obviously, for Absolute Legends that they are banking on. But I mean, it's a mix of AL. They are playing it well, but it's just honestly better reactions from Complexity. Empath here is going to get caught at the bottom rune area. It looks like she was either trying to counter it. Oh no, she did place a ward aside here.
Ward then that she's to be strictly. You know, I was going to say, I actually thought they would probably know that Peter Pan placed that ward. I was going to ask you if you actually saw how he placed that ward and from what positioning to see if that AL knew. It is a chance they just weren't perceptive to it, because otherwise Meisty clearly would not have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right now it's just more of a matter of AL, well, Complexity being quick to respond, but AL taking chances they don't need to take again. They were in a case that they were in pretty even footing with the Dark Lady free farming And once again, they're trying to make ganks happen with only 2 or 3 heroes, not really being able to respond and sort of counter train, so to speak, when they're being, okay, in Lodestone here, the nut and the lockdown coming out.
Oh, the rocket drill just in time. Minotaur could not get there. And Lodestone will be fine, so there's an attempt for complexity. It doesn't necessarily backfire on them, but granted the eruption was used and nothing got out of it, but you know, it's not the biggest drill in the world.
Yeah, I believe you can actually use that rocket drill even through Immobilize, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually. I'm
pretty sure. So
yeah,
be
I don't know if he got hit by the Skeleton King there and he still did it, but
I'm pretty sure it's the case. But
okay,
yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, I was going to say, I mean, in the end, it also just goes back to the nature of this lineup here for complexity. I mean, you said it going to the lockpick stage, they chose to go Parasite. You're like, you don't really want to give them Ophelia Master of Arms, but they want a Parasite. Torture's going to get caught here by Master of Arms. He's going in with the Energizer, but at what cost right here? Rocket Trio will connect. Empath inside of Low, so the head smash comes out. Beautiful wall as well. Master of Arms gets the heal, though, deep in the Master's Call. And once again, the global presence comes into play and saves them from getting killed in the end.
I mean, Parasite this game, man, he's 1-0-0, and the one kill he got was actually on that, like, 20 HP. Bubbles actually roamed his way after Empath Dark Lady sort of forced him out of the lane, and they were running him down, so with that Vagabond leader, so it...
So nearly getting caught there in the middle lane.
Not having an impact at all yet with this Parasite, and just some of the setups they've been going for just not paying out.
Yeah.
Complexity has been playing the numbers game more so on as well, so... Right now, Lodestone's ultimate is ready to go. The Shadow Storm is ready to go. We'll see how he chooses to set up for it. He's actually going to go to that cliff above them, but they're just going to let it drop. It looks like they're just going to let Dark Lady farm away. The thing is, if they're letting Dark Lady farm away, I'd like to see them at least do the run the 4-man gank or something. Instead, do the 4v5 while Dark Lady farms, have TP on her, and make something happen. Not these 2 or 3-man setups.
I mean, you do see right here, again, they are trying to do their best to protect the secondary tower.
Magnus
does have that portal key. He doesn't have Eruption for 20 seconds here, but he does have a good position to actually throw a stun in if he finds
They need
it.
to stay back and just let Dark Lady push this tower for now.
Oh, they're going to jump right there. Torture is going to get picked off right as I go off of it for a second. Torture gets jumped, and sure enough, she falls. See the rocket drill coming out, but just not in time. Still no Poots on Lodestone with that said. He's still just sitting on the helmet of the Black Legion. The tower is dropping quickly. Bottom tower not going to be taken out just yet. It's going to be a lot faster for complexity right here. And it looks like they are going to kill it in the end. Deny attempt. Unsuccessful. Trophazor will get credit for it. The bottom tower, Bubbles ports in, and Mookies will have to fall back ASAP. So overall, complexity, a big swing right there. 7,000 gold lead now as we are just approaching the 16-minute mark. And oh, look at that, too. Bubbles just... Okay, never mind. I thought he just got his portal key for some reason, but he is getting even closer to a portal key now, despite the start that he had. So,
right. I mean, Magma is sitting well. Look at all the heroes in complexity right now. Their mid lane, the Magnus, Luna combination. Magma sitting at 360. Meanwhile, look at Cookies, who is in the mid lane, and was actually doing pretty decently early on. Only sitting at 140 gold per minute here, 42, not decently. He was surviving in the lane and making it happen. But those failed gank attempts, man, and the turnarounds really did punish him. Yeah, losing all of their outer towers now. The thing is, it's the kind of situation where once Dark Lady gets her play, the reason I don't like it is because they were sitting at a point where if they did sort of mobilize and make things happen, I thought they could have taken fights. But having waited this long, it's the kind of thing when Dark Lady gets her Ruined Cleaver, there's still so much protection, mobility, and lockdown. Lockdown coming out from the complexity team between the Skeleton Kings and the Creeps, which are going to be hard for TDL to deal with on top of the the bubbles the Magnus gave and the double heal combination. So it's going to be hard for her to do anything without jumping in fights and getting slaughtered.
Yeah, she will need that shrunken head next in line for sure before they're gonna see any immediate impact with that Ruined Cleaver having presence in those fights. I mean, you just look at the meantime, complexity, just knowing that they have these windows right here. They just easily pushed both bottom towers. I mean, they pretty much knew that AL was not going to defend, and if they did, it would be to their disadvantage. So they push in the 2 towers, gain even more of a lead, 8,700 gold lead now. And we'll say the experience is pretty even overall. I mean, and that it has a lot to do with Dark Lady. She is level 12 right now, 2 levels higher than anyone else in the game right now. So
yeah,
that's again going back to good news for Absolute Legends. But.
Yeah. I've got to say, I really just don't like the straight helm build with the Lodestone at all. It's just constantly feeling low right now. If he wants to do a combo, I mean, he can't do a Shadow Storm Plus. He has to constantly go heal, or they don't have a Ring of Sorcerer on the team. Parasite going straight Codex, so A bit unfortunate. And see, the thing is, AL could have been in this spot with only like a 2K or 3K goal disparity maybe if Complexity was still forcing those pushes and they didn't want to respond. Once again, they dug their own hole. They dug their own hole, and it makes this part of the game, which they're trying to out for with the Dark Lady in the first place, that much harder.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, maybe going a little bit more early game presence with Dark Lady before farming up that straight from the Cleaver would be good, and actually getting her involved in some of those things.
Yeah.
Either way, Conqueror is going to be free here, and this is another stick in here in Dark Lady's plans. Shrunken Head, sure, that's great, but with the target going on the main primary farm burst and then trying to knock him out of the fight, is this going to get up and revive? You're going to be a Dark Lady sitting in the middle of the enemy team, so.
I love what they did to Conqueror here.
Party hat.
Party hat and everything. Boxers. Oh, that's hilarious. But yeah, Conqueror going down, and again, you do got to give tons of credit to the complexity. The way they're playing this lineup, the way they're playing, that they know exactly what AL's plans were. They have that global presence to stop those incoming 2-3-man ganks even, and on top of that, they are capitalizing. They know when to strike, and you see items like the Shrunken Head choice here for Master of Arms. That just means, you know, going the route of, I want to keep getting involved, basically, is what Trelf is stating right there, with the team, going the early Shrunken Head on top of the Energizer Steam boots. They got the token of life now. Probably going to let that, hell, they're probably not going to let it even wear off a little bit. They're going to go straight to the top lane, as you see, and they are going to start pushing because, again, they know that this is their time to really have the best impact right now against Absolute Legends here in this game. So it's definitely a tough road ahead here for AEL, and it's going to get to a point where, sure, all the outer towers are going to be destroyed, and then the base is next.
Yeah, they can't really win these team fights because Torture, he's a bit underfarmed. It's all down to maybe some sort of really ridiculous load zone initiation, but looking at their team right now, they honestly can't. I mean, look at Empath. It's a lot of... She powers up your carry, yes, but when you're fighting 4v5 against a team with this much, not 4v5, but essentially you're fighting like 4v5 with the steroid up hero, yes, you do have some lockdown, but when it's all kind of like single target in a wall like that and you have all this defensive capability and mobility on the complexity side, they can't fight it with a support hero like that. So you're looking at, okay, Empath, and Dark Lady's jumping to them. She doesn't have her Shrunken Head yet. Parasite saw a single target, and right now they're not really squishy enough to just burst down right away. So overall, in general, these team fights are not something they can take. So yeah, they are choosing to split push here, take this middle tower while they're giving up their free top lane tower. Complexity with that token, though, I expect them to probably just keep going, honestly. I would do that if I was them.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, they do have a great push presence here. An excellent team fight, so the secondary tower easily going to fall, obviously. Now, may result in a middle tower kill. Granted, Magnus is here. Oh,
okay,
they're going to set up.
Yeah, they are. Oh, no, the Ophelia minions were heading towards mid. But now they pulled away, which makes me believe that they aren't. But, oh, there they go. They went to the back tower. 2 ports coming. He's trying to bait it out here.
No, it's not going to happen. The Bubbles comes in. Or will it actually? Kelfu comes out. Red Power throw. It
power
snipes
throw.
out Empath right there. They try to get away. They both get on the flank for Complexity. And they're going to completely cut off Absolute Legend. So it will be a successful stop at the end as well. On top of the top tower kill. Man, oh man, again, just well played by Complexity right there. You do see Parasite. He is pushing the bottom lane in the meantime, going for that secondary tower kill. I don't think he's going to get it in the end, though, as Mookies is also just at the top lane cleaning up the creep wave. So
yeah, I loved the really, really quick rotation from Complexity from that second tower to the mid lane, and just that was really sneaky. I mean, they had no idea to see that was coming. Magnus was already set up and hiding. They had the illusion room top lane, which they probably detected was an illusion, so maybe they backed out immediately after the cleaning tower. You can tell they were a bit worried, but yeah, Moon there, just getting to position on time. The tablet, wasn't there a TP coming out? Something was happening there that they canceled with the tablet. I think it was a TP initially, so
yeah.
Either way, they had all the tools to deal with it, and down AL went. Yeah, Shrunken Head now picked up by Mookies, man.
Okay.
But so that is something.
Yeah, that's the start. I mean, that goes back to what we were talking about. The mobility was the next concern now for him, and that will give him at least a decent mobility chance here in these team fights. But still, the overall damage output now is the next concern here for the Legion team. They do have a lot of it with that said. I mean, Parasite obviously being level 12, he's got that codex. He got Lodestone, could definitely bring that to the table as he's going to be hitting level 11 here shortly. So there is still chances for AL, no doubt. But
I guess there's no vestments on a lot of these heroes. No vestments on Master of Arms, Luna, or Bubble. So
this is the Shrunken Head.
Master has a token, which
and a token, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know Shrunken Head, but still, you look at just mitigation across the board. Luna did just get the Steam Boots completed along with the vestments, so nix that. No real easy, quick pickoffs here with that heal for Parasite. Of course, Lodestone can change that game.
Yep. Again, it's still possible for AL, absolutely, but Complexity, they are continuing to try to capitalize here with the lead that they have, pushing into the base, forcing AL to fall back. Mookie does port in, so here we go. Are they going to fight this right now? Any point against big kill fit in the background from Bubbles coming in. Completely stops it, but there's a jump from Darkity. Eruption in the background as well. Darkity turning up as much as possible. Master of Arms may fall, but he does have the token alive. He won't even fall in the end. Darkity needs to run back. Empath is inside, of course, giving him the speed burst. Will be fine. Lowstone not going to be fine in the end. Parasite's still alive, though. And there goes the tower kill. The Rax is now next to line. Any buybacks used to say no. No buybacks have been used yet. By Torture, Lowstone. Darkity jumps back in. Doesn't have a double damage shoot, but at what cost? Darkity's going to fall. Empath will fall. And Parasite just sits in the background. I mean, they got desperate.
Rax dropping Ricky. They weren't able to do it. They dropped the token, but at this point, it's going to be Yak up in 5 minutes. They're not going to be able to stop another token from coming out. They don't even have more tools to deal with it. So AL is really, really just in a bad spot right here. Dark Lady's not going to have the room she needs to farm after this Rax's drop. It's going to force them back into their base, give total control. And they're not a team that, like, say they're Konging. They don't have, like, this team fight presence at all, like, between that single target that I was talking about. And, you know, it's easy to see what a Dark Lady is trying to accomplish in a fight. They can really punish Complexity for that attempt and try to take the token and turn it around, in my opinion. So, yeah, unfortunate for AL, man. It really just goes back to the fact like they were in a pretty decently good spot. You saw right there how they were able to fight even when they were at a huge disadvantage.
Yeah.
If they didn't allow Complexity to hit this like full growth, get the Shrunken Head, get all the healing items, get all the team fight items up before they chose to finally fight them, I mean, I really do think they could have had a presence. I don't think you need to sit back with a Dark Lady all game and just sit there and wait for your items before you make stuff happen as a team. Sometimes it's good to get that crush going a little bit sooner, find those angles, and Complexity was just ready. Like it seems like all of the gank attacks from Absolute Legends were very predictable. Complexity. They weren't trying to mix anything up at all, or going for spots where Complexity wasn't really anticipating it, and they didn't have enough information to make a lot of those judgments. So, yeah, across the board, it makes it difficult when you are going up against heroes that Complexity has, and that's more of why you need to commit with more of your team. You're going for those ganks rather than just a 2 or 3 man force.
Master of Arms Ophelia, no doubt about the biggest impact here, as they usually do. I mean, it just simply comes back to that in the big picture as far as that global presence and stopping any kill opportunities.
It really makes the enemy team defeat themselves in a sense. So, yeah, unfortunately, that's where I think AL could have played their game better. And I feel like it's a bit of a common trend actually when I see AL is that they do fantastic early game, then they just sort of pick bad fights or they don't commit with enough of their team to some fights. We saw it in the previous series we casted from AL versus was it when they lost? Was it against EA? Versus they lost. I think they lost against right?
I believe they lost against EA.
And it was that fight bottom tower. They went with 3 heroes. They're doing really good early game. And it's just a common trend I see with AL is that fantastic players sometimes they defeat themselves in game just by just rolling the dice a bit too much.
Well, Dark Lady is going to continue to try to just farm as much as possible and still be an impact here for her team and still try to carry her team to a victory. But obviously, after that last fight, a lot of negatives have now taken place and are affecting things. Now, something that can't I mean, Empath inside of Dark Lady with the double damage rune. I mean, that's what happened that last fight. It goes to show you that even with that all working together, they just because of how far behind they were already, just still were not able to make that happen. So even progressing further now, I mean, it looks like she is going to be working on that Abyssal Skull, but again, still just the raw damage output.
Oh yeah, they even through Shrunken Head, they have a Shield Breaker level 3. They have that Acid Bomb. They have a lot of ways to sort of just bring her down. Do they have no Bulwark yet? So maybe to be curious to see if someone like Ophelia does pick that up for the team to add on to that minus armor as well.
Yeah, you see Ophelia and her items already: Barrier Idol, Ring of Sorcery, Astrolabe, and the Ring of Teacher and Play the Game. Every single one of her items doing something for the team basically. So. And just playing a very solid Ophelia here. Is Riser as always, but his Soul's Bulwark. Definitely wouldn't be surprised for that. If not the Abyssal Skull, perhaps. But yeah, the level 3 Shieldbreaker, as you talked about on Tralfador playing the Master of Arms. I'm guessing they're also going to be waiting for Kongor. In fact, you saw the Ophelia minions right there. They were in the Kongor pit, but yeah, obviously he's not up just yet. I would expect maybe within the next minute or so he is going to be coming back up, and wouldn't be surprised to see Complexity head over there. The Shrunken Head portal key on Magnus with that tablet of command as well. He's just having a good time pushing this top lane. He's going to be spotted by the Sword of Sight, but looks like Beacon is going to fall back before any follow-up happens onto him. So Doesn't need to be too concerned. Torturer also, Cookies hasn't really been able to have any kind of presence. Well, I shouldn't say that, but any kind of big impact this game. He's 0-4-0, now just hitting 200 gold per minute. You see his items, he's clearly just been struggling on top.
Yeah, and that's the, I feel like Cookie's one of those impact players for AL, so
yeah,
sort of gimping his farm early never works to their favor. I mean, he's the one to make a lot of those big plays, and it's hard for him to really do much in this game at all. He sort of has to sit back and just sort of hope things come together. But yeah, at this point, they're just holding on, hoping for Complexity to screw up. It's not really a matter of them being proactive anymore. Earlier in the game, I could have said, oh, they can try to make this happen. They can try to make this happen. They can group as 4 or 5 and try to pick this guy off. Right now, they literally just have to hope Complexity, when they're pushing the base with the token, which is going to be coming out here in the near future, slips up in some deep, deep way. And, one big turnaround team fight where, say, they would royally potentially screw up and Dark Lady picks up another, high-tier item, then maybe at that point they can look to turning the game around. Maybe you'll see a Shrunken Head come out from Torture at that point and a bit more of a presence. But for now, just content to sit back and hold on.
Hold on for their lives, basically. Again, this is just game number 1 here in this best out of 3, being the losers bracket, though. But one of these two teams will be eliminated here from the DreamHack Summer 2013 qualifying event for the North American European region. You do see, again, they're still sitting in the Congo pit. They know, just like us, it's going to be coming up any second now, but not appearing just yet. But once that does, they will be ready to start dropping him ASAP.
They're gorillas now.
And
Yep,
there you go.
There it is.
There is the spawn, and here we go with Complexity. Heading on over AL, they have zero vision around the Conqueror pit, and as always, it does
And
go
even
back
if
to
they did,
case,
they can't.
yeah.
Once they don't have a lineup, they can, punish them for going with. And not that many lineups could when you're this much of a hole already, so Dark Lady does get an Abyssal Skull. It's not really going to change their team fight at all, at least compared to the previous one. Actually, without double damage, they're still going to be hurting. I mean, Shrunken Head is still up. It does still have 9 seconds, so that's something that they have. Going for the Master of Arms will result in an immediate loss, but then again, he's putting up so much damage at this point with the Acid Bomb and Shield Breaker, it's like they can't ignore him.
Oh, geez.
Parasite is in a bit of trouble.
Parasite.
They have a portal key coming up on Magnus in 5 seconds. AL does have Lodestone there, but they're not all in positioning just yet to try to get the turnaround. And we see Bubbles trying to cut him off here.
No, there's the cutoff at 10. Magnus will send it eventually. Chain reactions come out. Bubbles going to be locked down, but Parasite also going to fall right there. Shadow Storm was activated. Not doing the most, though, in the end. Darkening level 16 just has to run away. Empath is not even inside of her just yet. In the meantime, Eruption goes off, and Lodestone will fall. Empath off to the side. He's just going to be caught completely out of position. And again, AL just simply, they try to react to a situation. They get forced to an extent, and we see the end result. So with those 3 players dead, Lodestone will buy back. He already Shatter Stormed though,
down, so Lodestone honestly doesn't matter. A little bit of a weak side. I mean, honestly, he can't do anything without Shatter Storm up, so not that it matters because the cooldown usually isn't that big, but having just used it in that top fight, it's a matter of sitting back and watching at this point, man. The base will fall. It's
jumps in right there. He doesn't want to sit back and watch. He wants to jump in and, well, obviously die in the end. We do see Torch getting picked.
It's a matter of trying to do something, man. But
it's just too much, though. GG well played is being called. Vote you can see coming out. Game number 1 will go to Complexity right there, as we see over Absolute Legends here in this best out of 3. So, you pretty much described it throughout most of that game there, Emperor. Just simply get Dark Lady even more involved. She was just simply farming.
Yep.
Also, the gank attempts in general. Maybe pick your fights a little bit more wiser.
Yeah, and it's like they did have the Ophelia Master trying to 2-man gank there with the Lodestone Tor on top lane, and well, we saw that. It was at one point in the game it was top lane. Truffle ended up juking the stun coming out from Cookies.
Yeah.
But then seeing the support that came out and the Master Armor Shell and the heal, I'm not even sure if they did land that Cookie stun there. I don't think they actually would have killed him regardless. Based on it. There's a chance, but you didn't have boots on Lodestone. I'm pretty sure he was going to be fine. So, yeah, trying to pick those fights. I don't think if you pick a hard carry, you do not need to sit back and just wait. I've seen so many games lost from that. Actually, I mean. I'd like to bring up that Dark. I can go on and ramble about this forever, but I think back to GSL and seeing that Dark Lady sitting there in Orange Esports when I thought SG should have taken their first loss to break their streak for a while, and with that Meraxis TDL game. So I just see that so many times. You don't need to wait. TDL is capable of crushing with just some items. Even get a little bit of a build up on her. It's okay to do because the game is so momentum based.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of, oh, I'm going to get my Rune Cleaver and then I'm going to turn around the game with a huge farm. It's like, if I get my Rune Cleaver and my team gets killed in the meanwhile, we're not going to be able to fight no matter what my farm is. So that's led itself more to being active. And Dark Lady, her skill set is actually surprisingly great, actually getting in there and crushing pretty early. So I don't agree with that approach. Once again, we saw there why AL has so much potential and how they frequently sort of outplay themselves. But yeah, well played on. I say they outplayed themselves and well played on both sides. But it was a fun game to watch.